Well, in the last class, we have understood synapse and its types. Synapse is like a relay race, the message conveyed from one neuron moving forward to the next neuron. So how does this mechanism occurs and what are the properties of synapse is really interesting. The mechanism of impulse conduction occurs in two ways. Either it could be electrical or chemical in nature. Now, electrical is where ions pass. Now, as soon as the ion passes from one neuron to another, it depolarizes the surface of the next neuron. Now, this depolarization ensures that there is continuous propagation of the action potential across the various neurons, and this is what we understand through the electrical synapse. Coming on to the chemical synapse. Now, chemical synapse is a little different. Here, we have the action potential which arrives at the terminal of the axon. Now here voltage gated calcium ion channels are present. These calcium ion channels open and electrochemical gradient allows the influx of calcium and calcium flow into the axon terminal. Now this calcium ion causes the synaptic vesicles to move to the surface of the knob. Now, as soon as they move to the surface of the knob, they diffuse with the synaptic terminal and the vesicles release neurotransmitters by the process of exocytosis. Now, this neurotransmitter diffuses across the various synaptic cleft and binds to the postsynaptic neuron receptor. So, it binds where? It binds to the postsynaptic receptor, and this is where the action potential actually is generated. So that's the flow under a process of chemical synapse. So we have understood what is electrical and chemical synapse. The next interesting thing is the various properties of synapse. The first is convergence and divergence. When many presynaptic neurons converge to a single point, we call this as the process of convergence. This occurs in the spinal motor neurons. It also comes from the dorsal roots. Then there is diverge, where most of the presynaptic neurons start to diverge from a single point, and this leads to the process of divergence. Another important term that we would study here is fatigue. Now, fatigue is when there is repeated stimulation of the presynaptic neuron. In that case, the neuron leads to actually gradually decreases and this finally disappears as a postsynaptic neuron response, because there is a gradual decline. It is fatigue. So all the message that comes in through the presynaptic does not pass through the postsynaptic response, and this exhaustion of the chemical transmitter is synthetic. It's not very rapid, but it is a regular derangement, we could say, that occurs. The next is synaptic delay. Synaptic delay is when the impulse reaches the presynaptic terminal, but there is a gap of 0.5 millisecond. The response is obtained in the postsynaptic one, and this is what is known as synaptic delay, because from the presynaptic to the postsynaptic there is a delay or a gap. We call this as synaptic delay. The next is synaptic plasticity. Plasticity means ability to mold or change. So this synaptic condition can be increased or decreased based on your past experiences. So based on your past experiences, there can be the change or the mold that could be affected, and this affects the presynaptic as well as the postsynaptic location and has an important role in the process of memory as well as learning that occurs. So here are 4 important properties that we have understood for synapse. The types and the basics of synapse we have covered in the previous lecture. If you have any questions, feel free to post those in the comment section. We'll be more than happy to answer your doubts. Wish you good luck.